Okay, let's dive in. Picture this for a second. It's a really cold Dutch winter, wind howling outside. And inside, there's this scholar writing away.
Mm-hmm.
He's not just listing facts, he's trying to feel history, find its pulse. We're talking about Johan Huizinga.
Right, a figure who saw the past as this, well, living, breathing thing. Not just dusty books, but full of life colors, fears, even games.
Exactly. And today we're doing a deep dive using excerpts from Johan Huizinga, A Life of Culture and Courage.
Yeah, our goal here is to really pull out the key insights just for you about his life, his pretty amazing ideas, and his courage, too. We want to tell his story in a way that really grabs you.
And to get Huizinga, you kind of have to start back and groaning in his childhood. It's striking, really. There's this immediate sense of contrast.
How so?
Well, he lost his mother when he was only 2 years old. Imagine that shadow hanging over your earliest years.
Wow, 2 years old. That's incredibly young. That kind of loss, it must have profoundly shaped him.
It seems it did. But instead of just grief, it seems to have fueled this intense curiosity. He turned to books, to languages.
Almost searching for meaning, maybe. Finding solace in stories, in structure, when his own world felt maybe fractured. It sort of foreshadows his whole life's work, doesn't it?
Especially when you consider his dad.
Yeah.
His father was a professor of physiology, very scientific.
Okay, so the expectation might have been for Johann to follow that path, the empirical route.
Right, but his passion wasn't there. It pulled him hard towards language, towards culture.
And he really went for it, didn't he? I mean, mastering Sanskrit, that's not exactly mainstream, especially then.
Not at all. And diving into Indian drama, it shows he was already moving away from the expected path.
Definitely. And then his thesis topic.
Oh yeah, the jester. His doctoral thesis was on the jester in ancient theater.
The jester. It's such a fantastic symbol, isn't it? Someone on the edge, seeing things differently, using performance to maybe reveal deeper truths.
It's like he was flagging it early on. I'm not going to fit into neat boxes. You can see that unique perspective forming already.
Absolutely. A mind refusing easy labels.
So he's got this deep grounding in language, culture, gestures, Sanskrit. Quite the mix. But then he makes this intellectual leap into history proper.
And this is where his really distinctive approach starts to emerge. He wasn't happy with history as just, kings and battles and dates, the dry stuff.
He wanted more.
Yeah, much more. He aimed to capture the spirit of an age. What did it feel like? What colors dominated? What were people really afraid of? What games did they play? What were their dreams? It's so much richer.
It's like historical empathy on a grand scale, trying to paint a picture, not just list facts.
Exactly. And this vision, it clearly resonated. He moved up quickly, professor in Groningen in 1905, then the big one, the chair at Leiden University in 1915.
The top tier of Dutch academia.
But think about the timing, 1915. The world is literally tearing itself apart in World War I.
Yeah, what a backdrop. He's at the height of his career, watching the very civilization he studied just crumble.
It must have been incredibly unsettling. And yet, it's precisely during this chaos that he creates his most famous work, The Autumn of the Middle Ages, published 1919.
It feels almost like an act of creation against destruction, taking that turmoil and producing something so beautiful.
It really does. And the book itself was a game changer. He looked at the late Middle Ages not as just some dark lead up to the Renaissance.
Which was the standard view, right?
Totally. He saw it instead as this time of intense, vibrant emotion full of ritual bursting with beauty. He called it a civilization at sunset.
Civilization at sunset, that phrase just sticks with you. So evocative, it reframes everything.
It does. And he asks this question in the book, something like, every age has its own tone, its look, its gesture. What's ours? What are we leaving behind?
Wow. That question still hits hard today, doesn't it? Makes you think about our own times.
Definitely. And Huizinga didn't shy away from that. He wasn't just looking back. He became a really sharp critic of his own era, too.
Right, especially as fascism started to rise in the 30s. He saw the danger early.
His book, In the Shadow of Tomorrow, from 1935, it wasn't just academic. It was a direct warning. He was talking about dictatorship, the decay of culture, the threat to freedom. He called it out.
And when the Nazis invaded the Netherlands, when they closed Leiden University, his university.
His response was pure courage. He wouldn't be quiet.
He didn't have weapons or power in that sense, but he had his words. As the source puts it, he was unarmed, but for his words, and he used them.
He spoke out against the occupation, against the suppression,
Yeah.
knowing the risk.
And the cost was devastating. Arrested in 1942, sent to a detention camp.
It broke his health, Ended his career, basically. Even after release, he was exiled within his own country, watched constantly, couldn't go back to Leiden.
It's just tragic. He never lived to see the liberation he hoped for. Died just weeks before the end of the war in Europe, February 45.
Such a heavy price for his principles. A life devoted to culture ending under its antithesis.
Yet, even in those dark years, his mind was still sparking. Just before the worst of the occupation hit, in the late 30s, he came up with maybe his most revolutionary idea.
Ah, yes. Homo ludens.
Man the Player, 1938. This book really flips the script.
It absolutely does. The
Yeah.
core idea is pretty radical.
Yeah.
Play isn't trivial. It's not just downtime.
It's foundational.
Exactly. Foundational to human culture, to civilization itself.
That sounds so weird at first. You think civilization is built on, I don't know, work, laws,
You-
serious things?
Right. But think about it. Games, rituals, competitions, ancient ceremonies, modern sports, courtrooms, even academic debates.
Okay.
Huizinga saw these as types of structured play. They have boundaries, rules. They're often set apart from normal life, but they're crucial. They're where, as the source says, meaning is forged, where we test values, imagine new ways of being.
So play isn't just messing around. It's where we figure things out, who we are, what matters. It makes you ask that question. Isn't life itself a kind of game?
It totally shifts your perspective. Think about the rules of law, the ceremonies in politics, market competition, how we perform identities. They all have elements of play serving serious functions. This idea was huge. It influenced sociology, philosophy, game design, everything.
A truly massive legacy, then, with Autumn of the Middle Ages and Homo Ludens. But like with any really original thinker, it wasn't universally accepted, was it?
Oh, not at all. There was pushback. The source mentions the controversy and critique.
Mm-hmm.
Some historians felt he, well, maybe romanticized the past a bit.
Focused too much on the beautiful rituals, maybe glossing over the harsh realities, poverty, disease.
Exactly. And others, especially later historians, focus more on economics or social structures, the Marxist or annals schools.
Right.
They felt he put too much weight on culture and ideas and not enough on the material stuff, the power dynamics.
It shows what happens when you really challenge the way people think.
It's the price of originality, as this source puts it. It even asks, isn't every breakthrough met with resistance? His ideas were just so different, they were bound to stir things up.
And it loops back to his big underlying question, doesn't it? What if the world is more than facts and dates?
Mm-hmm. What if it is a story we tell together, a game we play, a dream we share? It's an invitation to look beyond just the surface level.
So, bringing this all together, what can you, our listener, take from Huizinga's story? His life and work, they really threw some big questions at us.
They really do. Like, are you going to just accept the world as it's presented? The surface facts?
Yeah.
Or will you, kind of like Huizinga, look deeper? Try to sense the spirit of your own time.
Will you just play by the rules everyone else follows? Or will you maybe recognize the game itself and dare to imagine new rules, new ways to play?
And maybe the toughest one, drawing from his own life. Will you find that courage to speak up when it counts? Even if you feel like you only have your words, even if your voice shakes a bit.
His story really connects with anyone who's felt a bit out of step, questioned things, or just dared to dream differently.
And the hardship he faced. Especially at the end, it underlines that powerful idea. Adversity isn't always the end. It can be that forge where greatness is tempered.
His clarity seemed sharpest when things were darkest. That struggle makes his insights feel even more vital.
So as we wrap up our deep dive, let's leave you with that final thought he sparks. What game are you playing?
Yeah, think about it. Are you mostly a spectator, just watching things happen, or are you actually on the field trying to influence the play, make your move?
Are you letting fear or just, convention dictate how you live? Or will you try, like Huizinga, to see things with fresh eyes? Find meaning where others might not look, maybe even in play itself.
The world, well, it needs people who dream, who question, who create. It needs people who can see light even when it's dark, who understand the deeper games being played all around us.
Huizinga's legacy isn't just in libraries. It's an ongoing call to courage. The courage, as the source says, to think differently, to play boldly, and to leave behind a story worth telling.
So take that challenge. Step onto the stage. Pick up your own pen, whatever that means for you. Play the game. The world is kind of waiting for your move.